Hi, my name is Alex and I welcome you to today's video. Skateboarding fans are currently experiencing a resurgence of skating games, a genre that was actually declared dead in the early 2010s. While the remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 impressed with its arcade gameplay on the Switch, a more simulation-heavy game was a long time coming. Skater XL was confirmed years ago in an indie showcase for the Switch, but never released and probably never will. So the Switch port of Session Skate Sim comes just in time. Find out how the game performs on Nintendo's hybrid console in our review of Session Skate Sim. Anyone who ventures here should be warned. The developers don't let it be known for nothing that mastering a skateboard can be very difficult and the learning phase downright frustrating. They have captured this aspect authentically, because here the control system relies particularly on you controlling the legs of your virtual self with the two analog sticks and thus manipulating the board. And this is done so meticulously that the most banal basic actions such as an ollie jump require tremendous amounts of coordination and precision. And for grinds, for example, the angle of attack has to fit exactly, because otherwise your skater will fail. Casual skaters should give the session a wide berth, but even players willing to learn have to overcome a massive mountain of frustration, especially since other aspects don't make life any easier. The rudimentary tutorial is of little help. The tasks are vague and hidden in sub-menus. The fact that your character can freely get off the board is at least helpful, but then he promptly controls himself stiffly. Once you've mastered the controls to some extent, you can quickly get bored, which is why the creators have built a series of challenges and missions into the game, which you get money for completing. You can then invest this money in the store for over 800 items, from hoodies to new decks. All changes to your board even have a direct effect on driving behavior. If you install software axles, for example, this will influence the handling. Players have the option to get off the board at any time and walk the digital locations. This is great for placing yourself precisely in the spot from which you plan to complete a certain sequence of tricks. Session has the feature I'm familiar with from the skate games of being able to place markers anywhere in the levels and teleport to them at any time. I spent hours neatly executing a specific chain of tricks on a rail, quickly learning to appreciate the marker to return to the starting point. Since I consider myself a casual skating fan, I would argue from this perspective that the physics behind the actions on a skateboard are very realistically designed. The virtual board behaves as I would expect after interacting with the character. Glitches occasionally creep in, for example causing the skateboard to shoot up several meters after a somewhat messy landing, and even animations, which largely seem fluid, are not spared from isolated clipping errors with the skateboard. Basically, Session offers an experience that feels polished and polished. The music also knows how to convince, which I can tell just by listening to it right now while writing the script. From a technical point of view, I'm a bit disappointed unfortunately. The developer manages to keep the game at 30 frames per second for the most part, but this is accompanied by a huge downgrade in terms of graphics. Already in the character editor, the low resolution is obvious and doesn't get better as soon as you stand on the board. The trees that are sporadically spread across the maps remind me a lot of the ones from Ark Survival Evolved before the developers redeveloped it from scratch. I'm not one to complain much about graphical downgrades and switch ports, but Session Skate Sim is really ugly. Tony Hawk's was much more convincing here. Session is a hard-hitting skating simulation that presents the sport in a grounded and realistic way. You won't find unnaturally high jumps and extremely fast tricks here. Session requires its player to intensively engage with the game mechanics, continuously improve and practice, and as a casual skating fan, I'm happy to do that. Even though I couldn't string together any respectable tricks at the beginning due to the steep learning curve, I still enjoyed the game right away. Even simple kickflips or cleanly landed 180-degree turns kept me entertained for the first few hours of play. And as I learned more complex tricks, the entertainment factor increased. Unfortunately, the technical implementation on the Switch is really not appealing, which is why I would rather recommend it on another console. For these reasons, I rate Session Skate Sim for Nintendo Switch a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. If you liked it, we would be very happy about a like and a subscription. Or if you're interested in getting early access to our future reviews, feel free to visit our Patreon page.
Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.